Hello and welcome to Cricingif video podcast. This is your host Mazhar Arshad, and I'm back once again with some cricket numbers and cricket stories. Our guest today is a highly esteemed cricketer from New Zealand. He is the only player in the world who has played 100 matches in all three formats of international cricket. He has the most runs for New Zealand in Test and ODI cricket. He has played two World Cup finals, and we are joined by Ross Taylor from Hamilton. Ross, first of all, how are you and how is life in New Zealand these days?
First of all, thanks for having me. Obviously the world's gripped by COVID-19, and if anything, it's been quite nice to spend a lot more time at home with family. I guess at the moment we should be in Europe playing a series against Holland, Scotland, and Ireland, but here we are at home in these strange times.
Yeah, but I think New Zealand, they have done a terrific job in containing the virus. We saw some pictures last week. 20,000 people turned up to watch that rugby game in Dunedin, I think. But how is the overall situation in New Zealand when it comes to sports? Do you think that we will be able to see cricket there this season or in the coming months?
I hope so. I think, as you said, the game in Dunedin, and then the game, the rugby game the next day against in Auckland, having 43,000. It was nice to have a packed stadium. I guess with what's gone on around the world, sport has been played behind closed doors, and it's nice for New Zealand to be the first country in the world to be able to play with capacity stadiums, and hopefully a lot of the world can follow suit in the weeks and months to come.
And Ross, shifting towards cricket and your career in particular, as I said, that you're the only player in the world with 100 match experience across all three formats. You made your debut about 15 years ago. How do you see this journey? I mean, at that stage, at that time, did you think that one day you will be able to achieve what you have done today?
Not at all. I think when I first started out, 2020 was very much in its infancy. The World Cup in South Africa in 2007, with India and Pakistan in that final, I think sort of captured the imagination of the international public and all the cricket fans, and the game's just growing and growing from there. I think you have obviously IPL, PSL, Caribbean League, Big Bash. The game of 2020 has really evolved, and I suppose for me it's probably more just timing. I think more than anything, I was very lucky. I was right at the start of my career. The 2020 had come through, and if you'd said to me back in 2007, after that World Cup, that I would have played 100 2020s and be the first, I think a lot of people didn't expect it to probably go as far as the game of cricket, the 2020 game, has come.
Ross, you are currently ranked number 4 in the ODI rankings. Do you think that ODI is your preferred format because your record in this format is as good as any batsman in the world?
Yeah, I think it's probably definitely been the best format I've been over the last 5 or 6 years. It's been very consistent. I did have a big push to focus on my one-day game leading into the 2019 World Cup. I sort of thought throughout my whole career I've always wanted to at least get to 2019 and be at the peak of my powers. But as things have worked out, that cricket, I still feel like I've still got a little bit more to offer cricket and the New Zealand cricket team. And who knows? Obviously, the 2020 World Cup is, there's a lot of speculation on when that's going to happen. But whenever the 2023 World Cup is, hopefully I'm A, good enough, and B, fit and ready to go for that tournament.
And Ross, your average, as you said that you prefer playing ODI cricket, and your average in this format is 48. 48 is great, but to maintain this average across 200 innings, that is something which very few players have done. But still, I feel that you sort of live under the radar when it comes to big names in ODI cricket. Do you also feel same, or?
I say one-day cricket is probably my best format. I still love playing Test cricket. That's the ultimate. In terms of your recognition in the game, it's a question that I get asked a lot. So I think it's probably something that happens or is spoken about more by other people and not myself. I'm pretty happy with what I've done, and I just want to continue to improve as a cricketer and be the best player I can be. And I know if I can do that and be a very good teammate and contribute to team wins, and hopefully that's satisfying at the end of the day.
And Ross, I'm sure that you must have been asked many times about that eye surgery you had at the end of 2016, because your numbers since then, they are just incredible. I mean, you're averaging about 65 in ODI cricket. So how do you see that? Do you really think that was something which helped you in improving your performances?
Yeah, very much so. I think, in hindsight, I would have got it done a few years earlier. But no, it was. There was a couple of different moments that you notice. I think the Brisbane Test match where I went and saw the specialist and got some eye drops, and then the next week scoring 290 at Perth, and then after getting the operation, probably 2 weeks later, I started having throwdowns, and it was the first time for 2 or 3 years that I was able to see the ball swing from the hand. So it's amazing how I lasted that long. But obviously, I joke about it now, but it would have been funny. I probably should have got it a couple of years earlier.
Yeah, and Ross, if we look at your career, I mean, you have played some really great knocks in Test cricket as well in ODIs. So if I ask you to pick your best knock, which innings that would be?
In ODI cricket?
ODI cricket.
I think it would have to be the 180 against England at Dunedin. I think coming in at 2 for 2, chasing 230, and then getting injured and still being able to fight through a few injuries to get the team across the line and a must win game. Sorry, but yeah, I think that would have to be up there with my best one day innings.
Yeah, that was a great innings, and there's one more innings that comes to your mind. That comes to our mind is your century against Pakistan in World Cup 2011. I mean, that was incredible night. New Zealand, they scored 92 runs in the last 4 overs, and the way you attacked Shoaib Akhtar in that innings, I mean, you scored 28 runs from his last over, and that is something which no batsman had done before. What are your memories from that innings?
First of all, it was my birthday, so it was obviously a joyous occasion from there. But I wasn't in very good form at the time, and so scratching around, and to this day, I still get a lot of messages from Pakistani fans asking if I'd been wished a happy birthday from Cameron Akmal. Obviously, was very fortunate to get dropped in twice in 3 balls, and I guess it was meant to be in my day. But apart from those, I think my second ball I hit for 4. Apart from that, it definitely was my day. And once you have a bit of luck, it's nice to make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, and I think that was a great birthday gift from Pakistan and Kamran Akmal. Ross, but even if we look at your other innings against Pakistan, I mean, since that World Cup, your average against Pakistan is nearly 100 in ODI cricket. And you also scored that brilliant century in a test match in Dubai in 2014. Is it fair to say that you love playing against Pakistan?
I don't want to say that, because obviously still got a few more matches hopefully against Pakistan, but I always enjoy Pakistan. Playing against them, you always know you're in for a hard battle, and I would have liked to have scored a few more runs. Maybe I used my luck up in Pala-Kelly, because Shaheen Afridi bowled obviously a very good ball, and Safraz took a very good catch at Birmingham last year. So it's funny how this game comes in roundabouts. 2011, a lot of luck, and then a very good catch in 2019. So no, I enjoy playing Pakistan, whether it's in New Zealand or overseas, and obviously just the way that the cricket works. I've actually never been to Pakistan. I've always played Pakistan in Dubai, but the 100 against in Dubai will definitely be, I think, up there with one of my best hundreds.
And Ross, as you said that you have never been to Pakistan, but now the cricket is back here. Pakistan, they just played a full PSL here, and some international teams they are also coming. We played a test. We hosted a test match against Sri Lanka. So, if there is an opportunity in the coming years, especially in the PSL, is it something that you will be keen to take?
Oh, if they want me, I mean, as I said, I'm getting a bit old now. So, but hey, never say never. And the players that go over there, talk to fellow Kiwis, Luke Ronke. He loves it over there, and and as well received by the locals. So, hopefully, I've got a few more years left in me, and when it comes to international cricket. But if I'm still good enough, and teams, still want you, then never say never.
Yeah, and it will be really great to see you playing in Lahore or Karachi. Ross, you talked about that game in Birmingham where you got where Sarfraz took a very good catch. What are your memories from that game? Because I mean, even though New Zealand they scored under 250, but still at one stage it seemed that New Zealand they might win it. But then Babar Azam and Haris Suhail they had a good partnership. What are your memories from that game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a neutral game in Birmingham, but we knew leading into the match that obviously a lot of expats. Birmingham, we knew we were going to be outnumbered when it comes to the supporters, but it was a bit overcast, and the Pakistani bowlers utilised that, and I think we were lucky that Jimmy Neesham got us to a competitive total, which was still probably 10 or 20 short. But I thought we bowled well enough up front to put pressure on them. But I think once, as you said, Bubba and Harris, the way they batted us, because it was actually turning quite a bit there, and obviously coming from the subcontinent, they played that very well. But it definitely wasn't easy. But the way they played was a class act, and you never want to say it in terms of when you're watching it, but I had a good view at first slip and backward point for a lot of that game, and those two batted fantastically well.
Yeah, and I think that it was a great atmosphere there in Birmingham, and the way New Zealand fought back in that game, that actually made that game very interesting. And Ross, recently you were man of the series when New Zealand beat India 3-0 in the ODI series, and we saw some brilliant cricket from New Zealand. You guys beat India in Test Series 2-0 as well. When we talk about India, I mean, it's one of the better teams right now. And they were number one Test team at that stage. But does this result surprise you? Or in other words, were you expecting a bit more fight from India in that series?
I think it was a strange series all around. I think we were beating 5-0 in the 2020s. But we probably won. Probably should have won 2, if not 3, of those matches. So it could have gone either way, and the same with the one-day series. It could have gone either way. They were all very highly fought games, and I don't think it was probably a reflection of the series. Where the Test match was a little bit of a surprise, but it was more the conditions, and I think the toss played a big part. We won both the tosses on green wickets, but you still got to put the ball in the right areas, and I thought we bowled fantastically well to put pressure on the Indian pace attack. I think if you look at international cricket at the moment, there's not a lot of in the last year or so anyway that international to win Test matches away from home are not as easy, and hopefully in the next little while that some of these games can change. Where I think, as I said before, probably the toss had a lot to do with it, and it was nice to be on the same result, because when we've gone over to India, we've been cleaned up many a time, so it was nice to change the result in our favour.
And Ross, as you said, that toss played a crucial role, and we are now seeing a lot of captains. I mean, when they win toss, their percentage of win it goes up, and most of the time they prefer to bat first, or I mean ball first, depending on the conditions. Do you think that maybe we can do away with the toss, something they are doing in county cricket in England?
Yeah, I think it negates. I suppose I don't like using the word, but not necessarily doctoring, but sort of putting using the wicket to utilise it to the team's strength, the home team's strength. But in saying that, you've got to also there's got to be an advantage of playing home, and I'm still undecided on what the right way to go about it and things. So you've got to utilise your conditions. I think the best format is hopefully the ground trying to have as even a contest with both bat and ball, and the test match going, and getting those results in day 5 would be the perfect result, I'm sure, for this game of Test cricket.
And Ross, you also talked about that T20 series against India, and you said that maybe New Zealand, they should have won 2 games in that series. If we look at last 1 year, New Zealand, they have lost, I think, 4 games in the Super Over, including a World Cup final. Uh, uh, I mean, is it something which concern you, or in other words, I mean, why is that New Zealand haven't been able to cross the finishing line?
Yeah, I mean, is it concerning? I mean, one over a context of 50 overs or 20 overs is, I guess, tough to swallow, but it is what it is. I think if we're in that same situation, I think we still back ourselves. But I guess first and foremost, you've got to try and win the game in the allocated time, and we haven't been able to be ruthless enough there. I think, and if we can do that and not even let it get into a super over, then hopefully the right result comes. But at the same time, if we do get into that situation again, as I said before, I think we back ourselves with not only whoever we have to bowl, but the batters to come in and do a job as well.
And Ross, there is some change in the playing conditions as well when it comes to super overs now. Now, I mean, we have seen a lot of organizers. We have seen it in CPL, in Big Bash League, and even in some ICC events, under 19 World Cup and T20 World Cup qualifiers, that if the super over is tied in the final, there will be more super overs until there is a clear winner. Do you think that it's a better rule to have?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm still undecided on the super over in a one-day game. I think I think one-day cricket has played over such a long time that I have no problems in a tie being a tie in the game of 2020 cricket. I feel that I think to continually go on is the right way to go. It's a bit like football and some other games. Trying to get that winner, but I don't think that the super over is necessarily needed in a one-day game.
But Ross, if we take tie as a tie in a World Cup final, then who should be the winner? I mean, do you think that we can have joint winners, or what are your ideas on this?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can have a joint winner. During the World Cup, I actually thought that I went up to the umpires to say good game. I didn't even know there was a super over. So yeah, I think there's a tie's a tie. I suppose you could have this argument either way, but in the game, a one-day game, I think if you can go 100 overs and still have someone equal at the end of the day, I don't think a tie is a bad thing.
Yeah, Ross, just a couple of more questions. There's one thing that I really wanted to talk about with some sportsmen from New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand is a very small country. It's like, I mean, a population of 5 million, and I can name about 10 cities in the subcontinent who have more population than New Zealand. But still, we see the sporting talent coming from New Zealand. I mean, the likes of Sonny Bill Williams, Dan Carter, Kane Williamson, yourself, and your sporting achievements. I mean, you guys have won 3 Rugby World Cups. You just played 2 back-to-back World Cup finals. Number 2 in the Test rankings. Tell us about the culture of sports in New Zealand.
Yeah, I guess right from a young age, you're encouraged to try and give every sport a go. Not necessarily cricket or rugby. To give everything: netball, basketball, rugby league, touch, tennis. You name it, you're encouraged to give it a go. And I think the more players that give something a go, then obviously you've been active, you're getting involved and getting that competitive edge, and I think a lot of these, it's not necessarily just the big cities here in New Zealand or our perceived big cities. There's a lot of the small country schools that are becoming very successful, and some of our best athletes are coming from little towns that the resources aren't probably as much as some of the bigger cities, but just that competitive hunger to succeed from a young age is probably what it's been such a small nation, and us sort of punching above our weight, so to speak, has been so apparent. But I think I hope it can continue in years to come, and I'm sure the mindset of us as New Zealanders won't be changing anytime soon.
Ross, and it's really great to see actually New Zealand doing well. And New Zealand actually, they've been always in cricket. They've always been my second favorite team after Pakistan. So I really wanted them to win the World Cup final as well. Anyway, Ross, I talked about some great sportsmen from New Zealand, and there is one right now in the form of Kane Williamson and yourself as well. If we look at your numbers when you are batting with Kane Williamson, I mean, your average is one of the best in the world as a partnership. So how do you define playing or batting with Kane Williamson?
I think obviously Kane in himself, he's a world-class player, and there's an element of calmness when you bat with him or when he's out batting. And I think that calmness goes to me as the next batter or when I'm batting with him, but it also comes out to the team. And as a batter, your first 10, 15, 20 balls are very, very vulnerable, and some of the best batters in the world, the way they deal with those first 20, 30 balls are key, and I think that's a massive part of where Kane has had success, and obviously Kohli, Warner, Smith, the way they get through that tough period, and when you as the next batter coming in, the way there's a calmness going in there, and if you have that, I think that bodes well for watching it, and when you do actually end up going out to bat, being in that state of mind, makes the job of batting and playing cricket a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's always great to see you guys batting together. I mean, you are one of the best batsmen in the world right now. Thanks for joining us, Ross. It was great talking to you, and hopefully we will be watching you again very soon. And cricket will be back soon, and it's really great talking to you.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, hopefully cricket's out is back, and obviously this England and West Indies series is going to be massive, and just wanted to thanks for having me, and all the best to all the Pakistani fans out there, and hope you're all doing well during COVID as well. Take care.